What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Kpop Kimchi Podcast, your number one podcast for girl groups with the number one fanboys. I'm your host, Justin Turneau, with my co-host, Brian Limper. It's a rainy one outside, and we're recording a little earlier this week.
Yep, we're recording early. It is raining. Apparently it's supposed to rain for the next couple of days, which is...
naturally
gonna happen because we have to go somewhere. But, that's fine.
It's really a guarantee. If there's a drought in your area, tell us to come hang out for a little bit and then go somewhere.
It's gonna pour.
It'll start raining. Guaranteed.
Like, legit guaranteed. It hasn't rained here, what?
I don't even know
if it's rained since we got back from Los Angeles.
And it's like... it's been like really nice too. Like
it's been super nice.
Perfect,
I'm talking about like
perfect, nice early fall days.
Mid 70s. It reached like the 80s a little bit, sunny, kind of breezy.
Breeze, and then I was like, oh look, we have to go out of town tomorrow. Rain.
I swear on Sunday I looked at the weather and it's supposed to be like mid 70s to 80s for the rest of the week. I'm like, sick. That's like the best weather ever. Then today it's like cloudy. Like, is it supposed to rain? And then I looked at it. It's like supposed to rain for the next 4 days.
No idea where this came from because I'm pretty sure I looked earlier too, and it was like sunny today. Or like I was like, oh, it looks like the weather's gonna be good for the trip, and then
of course
somehow out of nowhere came the rain of us leaving that we have to power through. So
that's okay.
Hopefully it doesn't last all day tomorrow, but
at least it's not supposed to like be raining up in Chicago.
That's true. Good. That's true. It's a good.
So
point.
hopefully it'll just like rain during the day. They'll be done by the time we get there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we have a super duper special episode for the next like 3 to 4 weeks here.
Well, yeah.
So this is gonna be a multi-part one that I'm not sure how many parts it's actually gonna be because it's gonna be ongoing for a while.
Or it's like still a living thing.
But it's great timing. Because, as a lot of you know, we're watching these signal videos for Triple S.
Oh, yeah.
And here in about a week, from tomorrow actually, we're going to go be seeing LOVElution.
I'm so excited.
In Chicago. And sometime after that, they're going to be having Evolution come out and debut. Which I'm not really going to get into because that's not going to be part of this episode. That's a different episode. But just know that this is all very well timed out so you can learn the most in the smallest amount of time.
Absolutely.
So for this episode, disclaimer, we've been super into Triple S lately, mainly because we saw them on Queendom a little bit ago, but we are in no way, shape, or form experts on Triple S. So
yeah,
just throwing that out there. We just know as much as, well, I mean, I guess, as much as anybody would know because we've watched all the stuff that they've been in.
Right.
But we haven't like been hardcore waves since like the very beginning, like some of the people in our Discord that like love them. And some other people we talked about, which ironically was only like what? Not even, maybe a little over a year ago.
It's kind of crazy thinking about it because it really wasn't as long as maybe we thought it was.
Oh, like, definitely not. It's not like when we got into Luna and like...
It was like years later already, like getting ready. I think when we got into Luna, it was before they actually had Hi, so technically it was like not the full team yet. Because I remember Hi coming out, but we still missed a lot of stuff.
And we'll get into this in a little bit, but the actual... first debut of any group that they had was not until October 28th, so not even a year ago.
That's crazy. That's super crazy.
Like, and really, if you look at it, they didn't start doing stuff until, like, introducing people until, like, literally over a year ago. So, I mean,
yeah,
we haven't really missed a ton. It just seems like a lot to get into when you first start, because, I mean, it's like an NCT thing going on here.
Right.
Mixed with, like, Luna going on. So it's a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah.
But once you started learning about Triple S and how everything worked, it's not as complicated as what it seemed. So we have a lot of friends in the Discord getting into it. So this will be a good guide for anyone who listens and wants to learn about Triple S as we're learning about Triple S. Because we're kind of all going to be caught up on the same page here in about, what, a month or so?
Really not a better time to get into them than with all the stuff they have going on now. So
exactly. So this episode is going to be dedicated to the first part of this Triple S journey, which is going to include us talking about the group, how it started, the first couple subunits, and the first 10 members of the group, which would be considered the first wave of S's in the houses.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we're going to cover in this episode, right? Next episode, if you've already decided to leave this episode, is going to be us talking about LOVElution and Evolution, because that's the beginning of the second wave of S's joining the house. And by that time, we should have all the videos watched on the signals, and if we've seen all the members get introduced. So,
fun fact, I just got a tweet that says the tour for LOVElution starts in 4 days. So
Yeah, we're literally like the second stop.
They're gearing up to come to America very, very soon.
Because reading got canceled. Sorry, reading. But we're like the second, because of that, we're like the second stop on their tour.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, so we still have, I think I guess we both have watched up until the S12 has been introduced.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still a few more that, I think there's like maybe like 100 episodes left, which really seems like a lot, but it's not at all. And we watch them periodically. There's just a huge chunk where they're like doing promotions for a symbol, which puts like a big gap in between when the members are being introduced.
So before we kind of start, like everything about Triple S that I've kind of like knew before until now is like before it's really scary and intimidating. Of like,
one of the most intimidating things ever.
I can never learn about this group. I will never pay attention. Like it's too difficult because there's too many people, too much stuff going on. They're adding people. Who knows? But, like, if you give it a little bit of time, just like Fogg just said, like, 100 episodes. You're like, that's a lot of episodes. How am I going to watch that? If you just give it a little time, you'll realize that you'll just, like, fly through stuff and that it's actually really, really simple. Like, as far, like, the stuff we're going to talk about, I'm sure, but, like, all of it is, like, really intimidating. But if you're like, okay, I'll at least give it a try, you're like, wow, this is, like, the coolest thing ever. And it's actually really easy. Like, we've watched so many episodes, like, and it really hasn't even taken too long.
Not only that, but like half the episodes are like 4 to 5 minutes long. And really, if you don't want to watch the whole episode, 90% of them so far, the last like couple minutes has just been ad placement for GS25.
Mm-hmm.
So you could skip out of that and don't even need to watch that and you'll be good.
Right. And it's just like overall and just how things kind of work in the voting or whatever, but it's really not hard. You just have to like dedicate a little bit of time and then you'll like them or love them like we do, and then you'll want to dedicate more time. It's pretty much just like, do you have to just dive in?
Pretty much. And then on this, we're just going to cover like the super most basic stuff, honestly. Because I mean, there's a lot of other stuff we could talk about.
Yeah.
But that's not really a need to know kind of thing. But yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, so we're going to be talking about basically like the first 10 members and what's happened in the videos that we've watched, because we haven't seen all of them get introduced yet, so I didn't want to do a whole big thing about that. Also, there's so much stuff happening, there's no way you can cover it all in one episode. So, like I said, first episode is going to be the one we're talking about now. The first members up to their first 10-member... It's not really like a unit. They're 10-member debuting as Triple S. Next one, we'll have the other members probably introduced, and we can talk about the 2 other subunits they've got going on right now. And then the last one is going to be the episode where we talk about each member's profile and talk about them, because there's no way we're going to be able to fit all that in this episode. Right. There's just so many of them. Like, even now describing it sounds very complicated. It's not going to be as complicated once I start talking about it, hopefully. If it is, I'm sorry. I'm a terrible teacher. But, to start with, Triple S is a South Korean girl group formed by HAUS, with members who started to get introduced as Triple S on May 2022. That's when they started being like, hey, we're going to start introducing people into the thing, right? So their aim is to be the world's first decentralized K-pop idol group, which basically means it's not going to be controlled by like one central thing. It's going to be a bunch of people controlling what's happening. Like a bunch of as we've seen, a bunch of moving parts making things happen in one centralized location, I guess. So the members will rotate between different groups, subunits, and solo activities as chosen by the fans, and they will be able to participate and communicate with the group, such as deciding the subunits and the content through photo cards called objects. Now, I don't really want to get a ton into this, because, I mean, it's not really a need-to-know thing for the group itself, but when you buy albums, you always get a photo card in it, right? Now, the photo cards that they have from HAUS are these really cool little cards called objects, which is technically a photo card. But if you download the Cosmo app, you can scan the back of your cards that you get, and you get a digital copy, which is... So you have a physical copy and a digital copy, right? Now, each of these copies only has one QR code on it, so it can only be used once. And once you do that, it'll give you a Como token, which is how you vote and stuff on the group. Like, that's essentially what it is. You use your photo cards, get the coins, use the coins to vote for stuff when you want to vote for stuff. The more objects you buy, the more coins that you get.
Hence the decentralized, where with the Como points, that's how you vote for certain things of, oh, I want to see this type of images or concepts used for the people. I want these people in this group and such. We've been able to vote for a few things so far. But yeah, that's kind of how it all works.
Yeah, it's basically just a
really,
fancy photo card.
It's really fun.
And then if you never scan the card, it's just a photo card.
And then they have like just digital ones too that might be from certain things or just like a special event. Or we saw that they had holiday ones that you can get. Like not every single one that you get is a physical one. They do a lot of digital type stuff. But yeah, I guess the more you build those up, the more points you get, the more you get the vote. So it's really the name of the game.
Yeah, like I said, if you don't ever want to get into that, you can just collect the cards, and they're just photo cards like any other photo card. But that's like a whole nother thing we'll talk about in a little bit. So the group will eventually consist of 24 members from Korea as well as outside of Korea. But as of September 20th, 2023, which is today, there's only been 16 of the 24 S's revealed.
It's really crazy.
Now, the members start out as little S's, which is basically like you're a trainee, which is interesting because all of them trained solo in different places. They're all from different companies all over the place. We're not really going to get into that. We'll get into that more when we talk about the members themselves later. But once you get basically brought up to Triple S and you're going to be told you're debuting, you become a big S. And that's when you're a member of the house where they live at and they are together. It's honestly like watching Sims. They're like little Sims, just like living their lives together in these houses. The group name, Triple S, means the idol of all possibilities, and the three S's stand for social, sonyo, and soul. So there you go, Triple S. Also, their fandom's name is Wave, W-A-V, which people voted on. There's multiple choices. That was like one of the gravities, which that's what their votes are called, the gravities. And that was one of the gravities was you got to vote for what you wanted the fandom name to be called. There was like multiple ones you could choose from. I don't remember. It was like 5 or 6. And that's the one that got the most votes, so that's what their fandom's called. Which is cool. They got to vote on what their fandom was. So that's nice. Now, in 2022, this was the launching of the group. On February 18th, 2022, Mod House announced that they would be launching the world's first fan-participated girl group, and the group was set to be revealing the first members in the first half of the year, which I said was like May. Now, the group is led by CEO Jaden Jong, who worked with many companies, but most specifically, he worked with Blockberry Creative, which you can see from all the stuff that they do is very similar to how Luna was doing stuff when they introduced their members into the group.
Yeah, you can see his influence of both groups and like the ideas he maybe had for Luna being brought over to Triple S, but like they're just more advanced for Triple S. It's like a more advanced type of like, it's almost like he took Luna as like the learning kind of curve of like how he kind of wanted to do this like opposite type girl group forming thing, and he made like this whole new thing out of it with Triple S.
Now, the first set of Triple S members were introduced through signal videos into the Korean house, which is like literally a house, and they put members in it one by one, and then they just kind of interacted with each other. So yeah, the house, H-A-U-S, like Mod House, it's house. There was one that was House 1, which had the first 5 members in it. Then when more members got introduced, they had to get a second house. Okay, they got a second house, they got split up, okay. Then they had to go to a third house, which is in Seoul, which is where they're basically like doing all their recording and stuff for their...
That's kind of like the game time is like, we actually need to do idol things. We need to go there. So like we're ready to like go to wherever we need to go to actually do like idol stuff.
Now, I mean, if you're watching the signal videos, so signal videos are supposed to be daily videos put out by the company, which basically follow around each of the members or the members together as they're getting introduced. So like there's S1 through S8, right? Before they split into their subunits. So the first like what I'd say 12, 13 videos were just Soyeon, who's S1. She got introduced. They're like, hey, you're a member of Triple S. Blah, blah, blah. You know, this is what you're doing. And it showed her just by herself. Kind of like Big Brother. If you've ever seen the show Big Brother, there's a bunch of like house cameras following her around and she's like talking to him and stuff. So she was there for a little bit. And that's essentially what the whole setup is. There's one member, and then every so often, every couple weeks, they introduce another member. Yeah. Then they'll interact together, like I said, like little Sims. They're like putting them together, they're like working together, doing whatever. Then they introduce another member, and then they just keep going on and on and on and on. Yeah. Now, the first members got introduced, and they were in House 1. And honestly, unless you like watch the signal videos, the houses aren't really that important. You can just like watch the music videos and music or whatever you want to do, because they've been moved around a lot at this point, and we're not even halfway through what's going on.
That's like already kind of been just like where we are is like, oh well, It doesn't matter as much as it did before.
Yeah, at the beginning, they weren't doing anything like really musically related. Like they weren't like promoting, doing idol stuff as much. They were like
Nope.
training and just hanging out, doing
They literally
people
just,
stuff.
They literally just do like random stuff. They'll go to the grocery store. They'll go eat. They'll go make some food.
I mean,
they'll do like a little bit of
dancing
dancing and then. Which obviously they're doing like more that we're not obviously, but like, and then they do like English lessons or Japanese or something. Like it's kind of just different types of random stuff while they're like to fill it in because they're not actually doing any like song promotions.
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty fun if you just like watching idols doing stuff.
Oh, it's
like the best.
Yeah, it's like the best part, to be honest. Like, I mean, we've had multiple people tell us that, oh, there's a lot of people, but to get to know them, watch these, and yeah, it's perfect because it's really fun, and you get to know all the people really well because you see them in all these episodes.
Like you're forced to know them.
And like interacting and just doing different things, and then they just keep adding on. And it's always like really fun when it's the new day to get a new person, but also kind of sad because what you had before with the other people is like never going to be that again.
Oh yeah, and like the little Sarah, the little house voice, like talking house voice, like Smart House. If you guys have ever seen that show, she'll come on and be like, "Are you guys ready for the new member to be introduced? Because it's never going to be the two of you ever again."
And I was like super sad, and you're like, wow, I really liked watching these such and such people interact for this long, and it's really cool we're getting a new person, but it's never going to be like that ever again in history of Triple S. So.
And then they get like, there's a time where they like go back to the house because they haven't been there for a while, and they like have pictures and stuff they posted up on the walls that they took. And like, oh yeah, this is Justin Hare and I were the only two people here. Like, this is when Jiwoo was in the room with Cheon.
Yeah.
And it's just never the same after that because there's so many of them now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't remember what we were originally talking about. But yeah, the Signal videos. If you really want to learn about them, go watch the Signal videos. I know on their actual channel they upload them daily. I don't think they do weekends because I noticed that it's not like actually every single day.
Right.
And they even said that on the weekends they go home sometimes, so they obviously don't follow them over there.
Right.
But on their actual channel, their playlist is not in numerical order from beginning to where it is now. It's like flip-flopped. Mm-hmm. So to find out the oldest ones, you have to go all the way to the bottom of the list and watch them in reverse, which is annoying. So I will link my own playlist that I have on my personal channel, not even the Kpop channel. It's like my personal channel. Mm-hmm. And I went through and I've added every single one of them in like chronological order. So if you want to start from the first one, you can watch them all the way down to, well, essentially where we're stopped at, which is all the members being introduced. And as we watch them, I add more chunks of videos to it. So feel free to like save that, copy it, go watch it, whatever you want to do. Because when we first did it, we were watching them, and I had to go back after each one to exit out and click on another one. It was very annoying.
Yeah.
So I did that. But yeah, the Signal video is a good way to recognize the members, learn about them. And at this point, as we're talking in the history of Triple S, there's only 8 members. S1 is Soyeon, S2 is Haerin, S3 is Jiwoo, S4 is Cheon, S5 is Yuyeon, S8 or S6 was Sumin,
Yeah.
S7 was Nakyeon, and then S8 was Yubin.
Mm-hmm.
You're right, I forgot Sumin was the homewrecker who ruined everything.
She was 6.
And then once we got to her, that's when they split into House 1 and House 2.
Yeah.
Which really didn't make any sense because they had House 2 for like a month and then they left. So
they weren't even there long at all.
I don't even know if they're there for a month.
Now I swear that one was like bigger.
It was way nicer.
That house was nice. It was like right down the road.
But yeah, so that's all the people that get introduced so far. Then on August 8th, 2022, Triple S released their official app, Cosmo, which we were talking about, which is used to collect digital versions of the objects as well as collecting Como tokens used for fan participation voting in gravities, which we were talking about earlier. So really, they just started the whole app a little bit over a year ago.
All right.
So that's cool. But yeah, you can also like just go buy digital cards if you don't want physical ones, and it works the same way. The one plus side to getting the physical ones, though, from the albums, is that they're like special edition ones. So say you scanned it in on like today, the 20th of the month. Every 20th of the month, you'll get a free token.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Which is pretty cool, yeah.
So if you get enough of them, essentially just replenish your stock every month. You don't have to worry about ever buying any, and you can go vote more. So finally, after all this time, which seems like forever, but it was what, May to June, July, maybe 3 months. On September 16th, 2022, so a couple days.
Pretty much a year ago.
Yeah, pretty much a year ago. It was announced that Triple S will start to prepare for their first subunit debut activities, which ultimately had them splitting up into 2 subunits of 4 each that were chosen by the fans. So this was the first time they really did a gravity to decide which members were going to be in which groups. How they decided which ones got matched up, I don't know, but we watched it like kind of happen through the Signal videos we watched because we didn't like live it because we weren't there watching it when it happened. But they would like match up 2 people against each other. I don't know specifically in my head which ones were which, but I know, say like Nakyun and Soyeon are mixed up or matched up. You'd vote like, oh, I want Soyeon in this one, and I want Nakyun in this one, and whoever got the most votes for which one they were going to go to, that's where they ended up at.
Right.
That seems like I explained that in a weird way, but it's exactly how it happened.
Right.
So it's like, if Soyeon got more votes to be in Crystallize, that's where she went, or if she got more votes to be in Acid Angels, that's where she went. So it's kind of weird because you had to vote for each of them, whichever concept you wanted them to have. So at the end of the day, basically they got split 4 and 4, and that's how we got our first song units. Now, the first group that we're going to have here, this is the first time they've put out any type of music for Triple S in any way at all, right? And the first group that debuted for them was called the Acid Angels of Asia, and that group was Nakyung, Yubin, Haerin, and Sumin. So this was like the first, like I said, musical stuff that they really did for Triple S.
Right.
And their debut song that they had was called Generation. Also, as Justice pointed out before, whoever wrote the music loves putting la 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 in all
They
their
just
songs.
cannot not put la 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 in some way, shape, or form in the title tracks, as you'll hear. I do remember this coming out, didn't know anything about them, but I did see it was like, oh, new girl group, Triple S, and they have a really crazy name, like the Acid Angels. So I do remember watching this video and listening to it.
And like I said, their official debut is on October 28th, 2022. So that wasn't even a year ago.
They're not even a year old.
It is kind of interesting that they chose to go 4 and 4 for the first songs because at this point they like had everybody that they were gonna put in the symbol thing.
Right.
It's a good song though.
Yeah, it's
It's
pretty
super
cool.
fun.
Honestly, I think it's my favorite one of the like title ones.
It is very catchy. I blame the all the la la la's honestly.
Yeah. It's got solid B-sides on the album too.
It does. Actually, all the B-sides are really good. They all just look like they had so much fun.
And I remember hearing this in H&M, so shout out guys, you
Hey,
made
sick.
it.
You guys did it. And actually, I lied. I forgot at this point there's only 8, so they couldn't have.
Yeah,
gone
'cause
there.
they-
I forgot they had the other 2 members
I
come.
remember Diane coming in when they were like doing stuff.
I'm like just so used to seeing them all together now.
Because Katie came in and she literally went to go watch their stage. It was her first time ever going to the music show.
Because yeah, during their like little promotion things for this, that's when they introduced K-Day, and then they introduced Diane later.
Yeah.
And that's S9 and S10. And that gives you your 10 members that you have in the
Because
first,
that is your like
Triple S.
first Triple S
or I guess,
group.
like I said, the first wave of
Yeah.
S's. Also, it was awesome in the trip and like the little signals, watching them all like watch them on stage because the other girls have never done anything at this point. They're just like
Yeah.
chilling. So that's a great song.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So this is where we're gonna kind of, I guess, skip because I'm gonna group these together because it makes more sense that way. Because after that, the second subunit was called Crystallize, and that was the other 4 members, which were Jiwoo, Cheon, Soyeon, and Sumin. And they actually, ironically, debuted their second subunit after they debuted their 10-member unit,
Right.
which I didn't really understand. I don't know if there's a
weird.
reason behind that.
A little
but-
weird.
So they actually didn't debut until May 4th, 2023, with their EP Aesthetic, and their lead single is called Cherry Talk,
Yeah.
which is kind of like the complete opposite type of concept that the
So it's like
Acid Angels
this
were.
like realistically came out not that long ago.
Oh no, it came out on May 4th of this year. Now, like I said, in between this and the Acid Angel one, they actually had their 10-member unit one. But I'm just putting these together because it makes more sense because
yeah.
they're both the units.
Yeah.
I still to this, like I said, I still to this day don't understand why they did that. It's kind of weird.
You think it would have been kind of how, I don't know. You think it would have not been like that?
Because think about it. October, November, December, January, February to March, April to May. That was like almost a half a year after the first subunit debuted. They debuted the second subunit.
So how long was Soyeon around before she had her... Or no, she was in the big one, so it would have been... That would have been her first.
Yeah, and that was in November. So
really just throws everything off that we couldn't do the subunit before the big one.
Pretty much.
Both these subunit songs are really good, though.
They got really good B-sides on this, too.
Cherry Talk's nice because I feel like it's a little different. It's like very different than the other ones, like all the other kind of main title tracks.
Also, sorry to all you huge waves out there that are mad we're going out of order with this, but... It is kind of crazy, though, because, like I said, you could really talk about Triple S and not worry about any of the houses or any of the objects or any of that stuff, and just, like, follow the girls being in their subunits.
You could really do it whatever way you want. Like, because we talked about before, watching all the whatever they're called. We're like, we don't even need to see music or anything because they're so great in those. You could just be a fan of them as like reality TV stars of like
pretty much at this point, yeah.
It's like YouTube show. Like I would watch it.
Yeah, so Cherry Talk came out, which is actually kind of cool that they didn't just have one like lead track because you know sometimes they have like one song and then like a B-side. They actually, I think each one has like 4 or 5 songs on it.
Yeah, they're like very solid little albums.
It's actually kind of funny, though, because I'm almost 100% sure during this point, like in the signals, there's other members being introduced, because we haven't got to the point where they're, like, promoting this in the signals.
Yeah, because this is only a few months ago.
Because right now, in the signals we're at, they're, like, promoting a symbol.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what's going on in the signals.
And honestly, in the signals, if you never even listen to the songs, you hear them enough in the signals to know what they are. So you can literally just, like, watch those, and you're like, alright, I got it.
Alright, so that's the 2 first subunits they had, 4 and 4. Then, like I said, in between both of these subunits happening, in November, Triple S announced they'd be debuting a 10-member unit during the beginning of 2023, as well as starting to introduce the second wave of S's into the Japan house. So not only was there 2 houses in Korea, plus the 3rd house in Seoul, which is like the big working one apparently, there's another one in Japan that some members got put in. And I don't know if you've got to this point in signals or not, but there's actually a second Japan house too.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, that makes sense.
And while, basically, I was telling Justin it made sense, because I'm like, why are they all the way over there? Well, a lot of the members are Japanese. But I was like, why are they all the way over there? It doesn't really make any sense. But then I was thinking about it, and I'm like, well, they definitely have them focusing on the other members in the Japan house, while the other 10 members are all promoting and getting ready for a symbol, because they can't follow them around doing their, stuff all the time.
They actually have to, like, seriously work.
You actually have to, like, work and do stuff.
And that's the thing we kind of noticed with them is, like, when, like, the Acid Angels and stuff were getting ready to do stuff, like, you don't see those people as much in the signals because they are actually, like, preparing for music being released and comebacks and, like, dancing and everything. So, like, they're not, like, super prevalent all the... You might see them a little bit, but, like, they actually have, like, that work to do, so... They're not in the signals.
It's like 90% of it is just the other 4 members. Yeah. And by 90%, I mean Suman. It's just all Suman.
Pretty much.
Non-stop Suman for the entire time Acid Angels was working. So, like I said, in between Cherry Talk and Generations, we got the first ever 10-member first wave Triple S debut unit on February 13th, 2023, right? Mm-hmm. Really not that long ago as well.
No.
And that's when they came out with their EP Assemble, which is a freaking awesome EP. Like, every single song on that's amazing. And their title track was Rising, which actually was voted on by the fans in a Gravity too, because they had like a little contest, and they like had the songs for that they're going to be playing, and the fans got to vote which song they wanted to actually be the title track on the album. Mm-hmm. So it could have been any of the ones that were on there. Then, while this was happening, like I said, there's a Japan house, and that's where they introduced the second wave of S's, and the first one being introduced as S11 was Katone, and then S12 was Yunji. So they're just kind of hanging out, chilling in Japan, while the girls in Korea are over here doing their assemble stuff.
And that kind of seems like the point of it in the end of like, it's just a group that when people are doing stuff, the other people are doing other stuff, like on the signals, like.
Which is kind of nice.
Yeah, it's cool. Like, there's always different types of content because they're either going to be promoting or doing signals or whatever.
Look at them go. But yeah, so this is like a whole like EP. Like it says EP, but I swear there's like 6 songs or 7 songs on it, which I mean, you could also be an album at this point.
Yeah.
But it does have my 2 favorite songs on it, which are The Baddest and Colorful. Both those songs are friggin' amazing.
Yeah.
It is kind of crazy though, like seeing them all actually doing something, because I'm so used to seeing them in like their little.
Right.
Everybody split up, and now it's just like all of them together.
Right.
Which it's kind of funny though, because I'm like, yeah, fine, they're all doing something together, but there's 2 other members in a completely different country somewhere else. Also, I don't know when the next one gets introduced because I haven't got there yet, but they might be getting introduced while this is all going on too, so there might be more members over there. I'm not really sure.
Right.
So sorry, Waves, listening to this. We haven't caught up with what's happening in the signals as this is happening.
I don't know if it's just from watching all the signals so diligently, but like, I don't want to say it makes it hard to take them serious in these videos, but it's like, it is different vibes seeing them in like the videos.
Like doing actual idol
like,
stuff.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, you're not this idol. Like, you're just goofy person making food in the kitchen.
Yeah,
like,
true. Oh, well, here we go. So, February 13th was when Soyeon got to finally do her first music and stuff as Triple S.
Mm-hmm.
So, she was there for almost a year before she did anything.
That's crazy.
But, I mean, that's pretty much the first part of Triple S that we got here for you. Looking back on what we just talked about, I feel like I might have made it way more complicated than it needed to be.
I think it was pretty good.
But that's essentially kind of where we're at in like real life, watching them in the signals.
Yeah.
And what has happened in the actual
pretty much
Triple S universe.
There hasn't been like that much music yet, so that's why it's like a solid time to get into it.
Yeah, and like I said,
because it will be eventually very difficult in like a little while when, I don't know, when like more music comes out, more people, then they'll actually be like, okay, this might be kind of a haul to catch up, but like right now is like a solid spot where we're not too far behind.
And we're at S12, so that means there's only 4 more members to get introduced. And we already know what the 4 members are, really.
Mm-hmm.
We just haven't seen it actually happen in person.
Right.
But I'm going to try to get those watched, so by next week we can have an actual episode talking about the other members and what's going on with them currently as of like the present time. Because all this is kind of in the past. They're like doing something else right now.
Right.
And that's when we're going to go see them next week. So
yeah, we'll literally have an episode after we see them. And then, because that's on a Thursday, so yeah, we'll have our episode on Friday.
And then we'll be gearing up for LOVElution to be getting finished, being kind of
their teaser
spoiled.
Their teaser like kind of starting to come out now.
So that'll be
which we actually voted on. So.
I know. And next week's episode, we'll talk about like stuff we actually did vote on here recently.
Yeah.
And kind of get you caught up on what's happening with him as of current. Because after that, I mean, we'll all be in the same boat, and we'll just be waiting for the other members to get introduced. And as more members get introduced, we'll do more
we really
episodes.
could just have like a monthly recap of like what's going on. Just because like that's how fresh it is still. Like,
I mean, honestly, yeah.
And like literally there's going to be more. There's more people who we have no idea who it even is that are going to be in this group. So could be anybody.
And according to our friend who loves Triple S in their Discord, he's saying they're still trying to get girls to join it. So it literally could be anybody. We like always we have our own Triple S chat in our Discord.
Yeah.
And we always throw out like random names of people that we hope get introduced into the group. Mainly because there's a lot of former members of Girls Planet that are in it. So I just hope for more Girls Planet members to be introduced, because that'd be sick. Like Fu Yaning, I wish she would be in there. I feel like she might
that'd be really crazy.
I feel like she'd be a little too old for it right now, in terms of K-pop stuff. Still hope for Ruan. She could be in there.
We just, I don't know. It's kind of like if you ever watch wrestling, and it's a Royal Rumble. You just don't know who's gonna come out.
Pretty much.
That's what it is. And Evolution, but not that one. It's exciting though. It's just so fun to see the new people getting introduced. Like, it's just awesome.
It's the most awkward thing in the entire world.
It's like really hard to have a bias because you like almost fall for the person because it's kind of like focused on them when they first get there doing stuff. So you're like, oh, this is my favorite person, and then the new person comes. So it's pretty much everyone's been really great. Man. I can see why people have like multiple biases in the group overall.
Especially once they started the second house, it's like a whole new show, like season 2.
That was like, let me tell you, there were some very actual sad moments in the signals.
Oh my gosh!
Like,
yeah,
it's not all fun and games. Let me tell you that. Right? There's some very when they had to split up the house into the go to the second one, which was like in their backyard. It was like one of the saddest episodes of television media, whatever I've ever seen, and I almost cried.
It was pretty bad. I still have like night terrors about that. So.
I'm like, why did we have to do that?
It's Suman's
Why
fault.
did Suman have to come?
It's Suman's fault.
We could have just had 5 people living in the house and stopped there and never done anything else.
And we talked about it too. Like I said, you can like bust through a bunch of these episodes real quick.
Yeah.
If we weren't gone for a couple weeks at KCON and stuff, we definitely would probably been watched all the episodes.
Oh, we would easily be done. We would easily, well, not done, but caught up.
It's actually funny because we got into them basically from Queendom, from watching them on there, because I was super into Soyeon from that.
Yeah.
So we got into Triple S off of that, and then as we were getting into it, we were talking to our friend about it, and that's when S16 got introduced. So we actually were there when she got introduced, because we had the Como game or Cosmo app, and we were doing stuff.
Well, actually, yeah, that. But like the thing that kind of started it was I bought the Luna thing.
That's true.
Because I got the Odd Eye Circle, who is under Mod House now, like Triple S's company.
Full circle.
And we like opened it up, and I got a Kimlip card, and it was like one of the objects because they do objects too. Not even close to what Triple S does, just because they're still so new there. Mm-hmm. But like, so I like was like, oh, this has a scan on the back, and then like from there on, we like figured it out, and then we're like. It like kind of took off of like the whole like you can keep them digitally, you can vote, like it's just really fun. I love the Cosmo app. And if you vote on stuff, you get stuff. Like it's really fun.
It is fun.
And there's Christmas cards. I'm hoping we get some, fingers crossed, we get some holiday themed digital cards soon.
Would you say you like the digital cards or the physical cards more?
Well, what do you mean? Like I always want to have
collecting them.
Oh, well, a physical one. I always want to have a physical one if I could. Like, I wish all the digital ones were physical.
Yeah, because I spend all my money buying the physical ones.
I do both if it's one I like. And usually people sell the digital ones for, like, nothing.
I will say those are probably a lot easier to get in my experience buying them. But...
Yeah, it's very difficult to get the physical ones. But I would rather have physical ones. I wish that some of the digital ones really were, like... That'd be so sick if you could buy the holiday ones or like the World Cup ones.
Talking to some other people that I like got some cards from, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's like collecting the digital ones." So I just use the physical ones to trade for like other stuff.
No, I would always like the.
Because right now I'm only collecting. Well, we haven't got there yet, but my favorite person in the group, Soyeon. Yeah. And that's the only thing I collect is all her photo cards. So, more specifically her objects. So I'm trying to get all the Soyeon objects that they have, which. According to some of the people I've talked to, is going to be a much more difficult task than I originally thought it was going to be. But that's fine. Eventually, the cards will fall into place for an absurdly large amount of money, and I'll take a second mortgage out of my house and buy them. But that's fine. I do have a lot of them right now currently. It's really weird because in terms of collecting stuff and buying them, they're just so hard to find certain ones.
It just seems like
it's like impossible.
It just seems like now the Triple S fandom is a very like dedicated fandom. So like you're either getting like the bare minimum of stuff, or it's like people want to just keep it. Yeah, it's not like Twice where it's just like bulk boxes essentially of cards where it's like you can get any card anytime because there's just millions out there and people are just like get rid of it. I got all these like. The Triple S ones there's just not as many. And
there's actually legit people that I've talked to where I was going to buy the cards from them, and they're like, no, I'm only going to trade it. I'm like, I'll give you like 3 times what it's worth. Yeah. And they're like, no, I'm just going to keep it for my own personal collection, so I want to trade with somebody for more, like, another rare card.
There's like more I'd say it's just like overall more exclusive. There's just like not as much.
Oh, there's still cards from the LOVElution albums. We bought a bunch of them. Like, I think I got like 8 of them over here. And there's still cards I've never even seen.
I've never even seen. So yeah, because there's each member got 2 versions that look like from LOVElution for objects, and there's ones we don't even know what the people look like because we just never seen them. Like you can't go just buy them on eBay.
Oh no, there's none on eBay. Ever.
Usually you have to do your work through Instagram, which we've got some.
And everybody's really cool in there.
And everyone's helpful, and that's like the best place to do it. So. Like, we follow the little app, or the hashtag thing, or the page that's like...
It also kind of sucks.
Triple S sales. Like,
when you go to the actual Triple S Discord, the only ones you're actually selling are, like, unless specifically specified, they're all just digital ones.
Yeah.
Like, it's really hard to get physical ones from people, especially for, like, the earlier, like, objects from, like, the beginning of the timeline, you know?
Right.
It's, like, impossible.
I usually only get the digital ones if it's like the theme ones, because I like the theme ones a lot, like the Christmas or the World Cup ones, or maybe one that's like a very, very low number just because it's someone I like. But I don't know. You just can't find the hardware physical ones. It sucks. Like
I literally still cannot find the other LOVElution Soyeon card.
Nope.
I've not seen it I saw it one time, and the person never responded to my message.
Never responded, or I don't know. It's difficult, like, in a lot of the albums we've got, we actually haven't really got duplicates of the objects, but all the other stuff, my gosh. You think that it was a 2-member group?
I was going to say,
a 3-member group.
The variety of stuff we pulled from these albums, because, there's, like, extra inclusions, like, different stuff.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable how many of the same ones we've got. And, I mean,
oh, my God.
We got what? You got some from Florida.
I bought some from Orlando.
We both got orders from... Was it Choice Music in LA?
Something like that.
Someone
in LA.
Music,
I think
something like that.
Yeah.
We both got 2 separate orders of 2 from there. I got 2 in Chicago. And then I thought we got some other ones.
I have one more coming from Korea, but
literally,
we'll see what happens.
And I kid you not, like the actual inclusions, all we've got in all of them were either 9 little things, U-bin. I've got like 4 U-bins.
Yeah.
There's some I don't think exist because I've never seen them. And then... For the little sticker sheets, I've got a bunch of Kiede. I got a bunch of Dayuns. Luckily, one of Justin's favorite members, Sohyun, I pulled the little dollar bill thing for like 3 times.
Yeah, so I have multiple ones.
I got
one
mine.
too. No, we tried to get on Instagram, but the person would not reply to us.
Luckily, shout out to the one girl I hit up, and she was selling it to me for $1.50. And I'm like, no, here's $5.
Yes,
cover shipping.
Here, I'm trying to sell this for $1.
I'm like, you don't understand how long I've been looking for
75 cents?
Here's $5. So at least I got that. I just need to get my other objects.
I don't know what's up with that. I mean, we'll get more eventually.
Hopefully I can buy more tomorrow when we go to Chicago and I can get somebody.
But like, man, I don't know. It's tough.
It's actually funny because we were opening them. Like I do like random pack openings for shorts on our channel. And we got the same inclusions on back-to-back albums that we opened. And one of them had a K-Day photo card, and I go, who do you think we're going to open in the second one? Justin goes, based off the album, probably the same one. So I opened it, and I got her photo card to see other versions. That's the only person who's seen both versions of the objects for.
I've seen a couple just because I have seen them online. Like, mainly, like, people want them, so you can't get them from them. But, yeah, there's still some members of LOVElution I've not seen. Their other... Like, I'm not sure what the Dian ones even look like.
Have we opened any of the Soyeon
Nope.
objects? Have you got any of them?
Nope. I've never seen them available at all.
I've seen them a couple times on Instagram, but people were like, oh, trading for other people that, of course, I don't have.
Or they're just already gone. Like, it's like posted an hour ago, and then it's like, not if it, like, you look and like that one's like X'd out.
Yeah.
Of course.
Maybe
I have seen hers, though, like what they look like. They're really cool. It's just haven't had a chance. It's just hard because you just don't have a chance.
On everything right now, if we go up to the place tomorrow and they've got a bunch of them, I'll just buy all of them.
Honestly, we'll get them.
Just to see what's in there. You'd think they're from all over the place. I commented on this on one thing, and a person's like, oh, yeah, sometimes the same batches of bad sorting. I'm like, we've got these from 3 different states. There's no way they had the same batch that got sent out.
And I'm wondering, so that means, is there like a specific assembly line of these albums that's like putting the same stuff in it? And then they put it in the box, and then the other people of the same, I don't know. Like how do they even get together?
Well, it's really crazy because a lot of the ones that I see being sold on Instagram too are like the same ones that we got.
Yeah,
so it's not even like worth trading because I've already got them.
I wonder if there's like, but that would not make, I don't know. I was like, maybe there's like actual higher volumes of numbers than other people. Like, is there a rarity of like,
I don't know.
Even though it's like the weird side inclusion stuff that you're like, why would this even be like
Like, why do I have 7 9s right now?
It's like why is this little $1.50 Soyun so hard to find anywhere else?
Like, how has no one else opened these? Like, there's got to be more people who've opened them.
I like check all the time. It's hard to find these.
I will get what? Oh, speaking of that, I think either today or tomorrow, the stuff goes on sale on K-Town for the little inclusion things.
Ooh, I need the acrylic stands.
Because when I was at Roland's the other day, I was looking at something and it said D5, so it was only 5 days. So you might check. They might be on there now.
Whoa, it's time to buy the actual objects. I just want the little acrylic people.
I want the little keychain thingy.
I want to read this too because it's something about the objects at the concert.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
It's like they're like important.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out. But yeah, so sorry about the little tangent there about the objects. It's very difficult. Triple S, we love Triple S. So this is the first part of our Triple S series that who knows how long it's going to be because the group is still being formed and they really have not done a ton of stuff. Tune in next week if you want to hear about LOVElution and Evolution.
Yeah.
Which, if you don't know anything about Triple S, you don't even know what that is. So come tune into the mystery.
That's why you got to listen. But all right, guys. Until then, we love you. Peace.
Later.